see, like previous examples, here also we created session factory object initially, and then from session factory object, okay, we created session object using. Okay, then once the session object is created, we create a transaction object, right? Fine. Now, for example, if we want to display, just 1 minute please. Let me, like for example, if we want to display all the records, okay, how many records are there? Okay, how many records are there in the database table? If we want to display all the records, okay, let us see. Here we created criteria object. Okay, first of all, let me show a configuration file and then mapping file. That is the configuration file and mapping file. So from configuration file, we specified with what database we need to make a connection. Actually, we are not, that means we are not going to write any code to make a connection because Hibernate is going to handle that. Okay, so now here you see we used MySQL database. Clearly, dialog class varies from database to database. That means, for example, if you want to use or if you want to make a connection with this Oracle database, then Oracle related dialog class should be here. Okay, so depends upon the selected database, we must use related dialog class here. Okay, fine. Now let me open MySQL. It's a password, we need not enter. Okay, and you see the database name. This is the database name. So after port number, what we used here represents the database. Okay, now you see, that means database means we are going to create all the tables under that. Then now here you see use student. So that means database changed, right? Now let me check how many tables created there. Now you see 2 tables already created here. Contacts table and then employee table. Okay. Now actually we need, or we are going to access a contacts table from Hibernate application, right? Then let me check how many records already presented in the contacts table. So at present we are having only 1 record. Let me insert multiple records like 4 records or 5 records. Let me insert. Yes. Can you tell me the query to insert the values into the table? Can you tell me the query, SQL query to insert the values into the table?
Session.save object name.
No, not Hibernate point of view.
Okay.
SQL query, what I'm asking.
SQL query.
Ah, yes.
Insert values into student. Yeah.
Yeah, insert into. Now we inserted the record. So we added two more records for the previous one. Now I committed the records. So at present we're having three records in the database table. Then through this program we are going to get all those records from the database table. Okay. And in the previous session we retrieved only one record from the database table. Yes, what is the method we used there to retrieve or to get the record, the specified record from the database table into Hibernate application? Which method we used there? Yes, Sai, Soumya and Venkat. What is the method we used to get the specified record from the database table into Java application, sorry, Hibernate application? Load, right? We used load method, right? Fine. But right now we are going to get all the records from the database table. Yes, how it is, you see, criteria object we created. Okay. Now to create a criteria object, we used a method which is called create criteria method. Okay, create criteria method. So for the create criteria method, we given some class name as a parameter. Yes, what is that class name? What it represents? Yes, that means after retrieved the values from the database table into Hibernate application, yes, into which class we need to store the values. That's what we represented with criteria object. Okay, so we applied list method on criteria so that what are the records or how many records retrieved into criteria object. Okay, all those records retrieves into or assigns into the object which is called list object. Okay, then from list object we need to get one by one, that is record by record. Okay, yes, that's why to get the records one by one, here we used a method called iterator method, so that that iterator method returns all the records from list object into iterator object. Okay, now from iterator object we are getting the values or records one by one by using has next method and then next method. Okay, so now here the query for you, with the next method or with has next method. First you take has next method. So what we done with the has next method here, already we use in a collection framework, right? So what is that has next method? The same iterator object has next method we use it from collection framework, right?
Yeah, if
So can you tell me about has next and next methods?
yeah, it will check the list if there is any object in the list,
Yes.
then the next object in the list, it will check it for the next object in the list. If If there is a next
Yes.
object in the list, then it will print the present object, like the next
Okay,
object.
fine.
It will print the next object.
Yeah, fine.
As next
Okay.
is okay.
Now, you see, diagrammatically I'm showing here. Now imagine this is a criteria object or list object you take. In this list object, some contact objects are stored here like this. First contact object. Imagine like this. All these are contact objects. So retrieved into list object. So we need to get these objects one after another from list object. That's why here we use a method called iterator, so that like what are the objects presented in the list, okay, returns by this iterator method into iterator object. Okay, so finally we got all these contacts object into iterator object. So that here I'm showing as an iterator object. Now from iterator object we have to get these objects one by one, right? That's why initially we used a method called has next method. So with this has next method, we need to verify whether any object presented here in the iterator object or not. If it is there to display or to get the objects, this has next method returns true. If it returned true, then we use next method. So that this next method gets the object from this iterator. Okay, what type of object this is? Contact object. Now this object having some data. Now to get the data from this contact object, we use getter methods like this. You see get name and get ID. Understood? Like that. So here you see we use these two methods called has next method and then next method. Okay, is it clear right now, all of you? Sai, Soumya and Venkat?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So finally we will get all the values. All the values means what are the values presented in the table. Okay, we can retrieve all those values like this. Let me execute this. Now here you see. So how many records are there in the database table? all values are displayed. You see name, ID, name, ID, name, and ID like it, right? Okay, is it clear right now? Yes. If any queries, please ask me right now. Sai, Soumya, and Venkat.
No, Chandra.
Yeah, fine, Sai. And Venkat, is it clear right now? Yeah, fine. Now, here, I'm giving a simple query for you. That is to work. Let me show the example first. Here you see, we used a load method. We used load method. Okay. So for that load method, we given some parameters like contact dot class and then integer value. That means if any record is there in the database table with 1002 ID, then that related record retrieves into contact class. Okay. Once we got that object into contact class, then here you see we displayed the values. So understood all of you right now? Yes. That means here we used the load method to display the specified record from the database into Hibernate application. But one more method is also there, which is called get method. Now try to find out, try to differentiate load and get. That is the thing I am giving. This is one of the introduction here. Okay. So when we need to get the specified or specific record from the database table, we have two methods. We have two options here: load method and then get method. Okay. So now you have to differentiate load and get. Understood?
By using load, we can get multiple data.
No, Samya. Like even by using like load and get method allows us to get only specified record. But you have to differentiate. What is the main difference? Some difference is there. So you have to find out that. What is the difference between load and get methods?
Load means it can only load the.
Yeah, yeah. That
By
is
using it,
load.
we can access the particular.
No, no. What are the parameters we given for load method? What are the parameters you see? Two parameters we given for load method, right?
Yeah.
First one is contact dot class, and the second one is 1002 like that, right?
Yeah.
So what is the meaning of that? If any record is there in the database with ID 1002, it needs to get into contact class, right?
Yes.
That's what we done here. Just we retrieved only specific record, only specified record, right? That is what load method done here. Just it collected the record, okay, what we specified as a parameter for load method, right? Even get is also doing the same thing. So get behavior also same, but some difference is there. Just you have to find out the difference. This is one of the interview question for you. It's from Hibernate. Okay. Yeah, Samya, understood.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just you have to do that. Now, now see one more example. Here you see. So, imagine this is a criteria object. That means the criteria object represents the retrieved records from the database in Hibernate application. Then, by using list method, okay, by using list method, what we done in the previous example, with the list method, we done one operation from the previous example on criteria object. Yes, simply we collected all the records into list object. But now here you see somewhat modifications we done. Yes, you see initially we created the criteria object, and for criteria object we given a condition, you see, okay, which ID, which record ID given as 1002, only that specific record. That means here we applied a filter. Okay, we applied a filter. So how we applied the filter here? Yes, by using restrictions object. So restrictions dot equals to, that means we need not make any comparisons. Directly restrictions is going to do that. So for example, if we retrieve 10 records from the database table into Hibernate application, if you want to filter them, then to make the filter, the object is given from Hibernate which is called restrictions. So restrictions dot equals to that ID. Which ID we given here? 1002. Then which record we need to get or we retrieved from database, then we're displaying them here. Okay, let me show that restrictions. So now you have to work on Hibernate API. So like this. Here you see we got an option called Hibernate API documentation as initial one. Just you see that. Yes, Hibernate. org.hibernate.cfg. This is the package. Okay. Here you see session factory is given. Sorry, not here. This is a settings factory. You see dialect classes. Okay, DB2 dialect class, derby dialect. Okay, HSQL dialect, H2 dialect, MySQL 5 dialect. So what we are using here? Oracle 10G dialect, Oracle 8i dialect. That means clearly you see version wise dialect classes are given here. Okay, version wise, even for Oracle 8, 9, 10. Okay, different dialect classes are given, not same dialect class. Okay, so that is taken from org.hibernate.dialect, like that. Okay, and some other also you see. So there are many packages given here. Like this you see. So the same way restrictions also taken from there. You see from which package it is? Yes, org.hibernate.criterion package. So restrictions is taken from which package? org.hibernate.criterion. Okay. So if we executed this, you see what is the record we need to get from the database? It is retrieved. So understood my point here, what I told you? Yes. Now if any queries, please ask me right now. Yes, Soumya and Venkat. If any queries, please ask me right now.
No, Chandra.
Now, come for creating the relationships with the annotations. Yes, what is meant by annotation? What is meant by annotation? Do you know about annotations from Java?
No, Chandra.
Fine. So, no problem. I will tell you about these annotations also. Now here, from this example, we are going to use Oracle database. Now let me connect to a user called Scott. Now we connected to Scott and Tiger. So that is the user here. You see the dialect class. Which dialect class we given here? Yes, Oracle dialect. Okay, so that's what we given, you see, Oracle dialect. Okay, this is the class we taken. That is taken from, you see, Oracle org.hibernate.dialect. You see that. Okay, this is also predefined class given by Hibernate. And yes, so the above information is same like previous example, like driver. Instead of MySQL driver, we take an Oracle driver here. That means here even driver class also change. Depends upon the database what we are using. Okay, we will get, or we have to use driver here. Then URL, Yes, tell me about URL. Can you tell me about URL? What URL represents there? That is from Hibernate configuration file.
Database path.
Database path.
Yeah.
That means like where the database is running. Here at the rate of localhost represents in the current machine. That means in what machine we are working, okay, represents the localhost. And the port number. What is the port number? And what is the service name? Okay. So this is the URL for the specified database. And then username and password. So when we given this data as input for this driver, then it finds whether specified database presented in the database or not. If it is there, then it creates a session object. Okay, that is different. Now here you see. So I will explain this one also. Mapping files you see. Address and student. That means we done some mappings in between Java class and the table. Okay, we written that mappings here. That means we created two Java classes named address and student. Okay, then go for address class first. Now here we will discuss about annotations also. You see, in the that is above of the class declaration, we written some lines. You see, at the rate entity, at the rate table, name is equals to address. So what is the meaning of that? That is called annotation actually. That annotation gives some meaning for the system here. So what is the meaning of that? That means here this address class mapped with this specified table. That means for this annotations, or simply can say the annotations having some meanings to understand. That is for our system. So what is the meaning of that? Yes, this class mapped to this table what we created in the database level. That is the meaning of that annotation, which is called table. Okay, and at the rate of column, that means this is the name. So what is the text we given here, or what is the string we given here, represents the column presented in the database. Okay, in the same way, and here you see this property is the property what we created in this class mapped with this column. In the same way, yes, this property mapped to this, sorry, yes, this property, not property, column. And the length is also given here. Clearly you see length is also given. That means here length represents how many letters we are going to store in this column. Is it clear right now, all of you? Okay, is it clear right now?
Yes, no.
Yeah, fine. And remaining is same like getters and setters. Okay, so when we need to set the values into these properties like address ID, place, parent, okay, to assign or to store the values into those variables, then we must pass those values to setter methods. That's we know very well. Like that we created. And let me show one more class which is called student class also. Yes. Here you see table. That means this class mapped with this table. Why we mapped the class with the table? Yes. If we assigned some data into the class, then our Hibernate collects the data from this class and then stores them into this table what we specified. That's why we create the mapping. Just we created the mapping. Okay. Even you see properties are mapped with the columns you see. Okay, is it clear right now? Fine. So how many how many tables we created here? We represented here two tables. One is address table, second one is students table. Okay, let me drop the tables first. So two tables are dropped here. Now here you see this is the main program we written. I will explain it. Now if I executed this program, now you see. Now you go to the database and check whether tables are created or not. But actually we are not created the tables. We are dropped already. But even though table creates, that means here we created the tables programmatically. Now you see table is created. But already previous, that means here you see. We removed or we deleted the table address. And in the same way, student table is also removed from the database. But even though it is created, how it is? Yes, like this you see. So we created a property which is called hvm2 ddl dot auto. So what is the value we given for that? Update. So here when we given or when we return that property here, then our Hibernate creates the tables what we specified in the classes. So what is the table name we given here? Address. Creates. And what is the table name we given here? Students. Creates. It is there already. Okay. So that like that we created the tables, that is not manually. Programmatically we created the tables here. Okay. Now come for relationships. Yeah, do you know about relationships in Oracle level? Do you have any knowledge on relationships? Yeah, Sai, Soumya and Venkat. Do you know about relationships?
No, sir.
Like one to one, one to many, many to one, like that, right? Yeah, fine. See, let me show that relationships also. imagine this is a student object. Okay, this is a student object. And this is the address object. So, for example, if student having the address, then we must link this student object with address object. Nothing but relationship you see. We created a relationship. What type of relationship here? One to one. That means this student, okay, address is linked here. We have not created the address in this object. Separately we created the address object. That's why we associated this object, or we linked this student object with address object. Okay, that is one to one. Now we are going to do the same thing here. So how we represented the relationship? Yes, here you see with a annotation called one to one. Now what is the target entity? Student. That's we know very well. That means here this address object is going to link with the student class. That is the meaning of that. Okay. Is it clear? Sai, Soumya and Venkat. If any queries, please ask me, because this is very important concept, that is interview point of view and even real-time point of view also. Yes, I and Soumya. What about you? Venkat?
Chalo, what is it doing target entity one to one?
That means nothing but it is going to link what I represented diagrammatically here. You see, this student object is linked to this object, right?
It is linking to
So
address
linked
plus.
means I link student object with address. That means this student address is created here. That is the meaning of that, right?
Okay.
This student address is created here.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what target entity. Okay. That means here each address object linked to student. Okay. Is it clear?
Target entity is the keyword or something.
Yeah, it is a predefined word given in Hibernate. That means target entity represents to which class we are going to link this. Understood?
Yeah, yes, yes.
Yeah, fine. So, and here you see how the values are stored. So now you see one student address is like this. Address ID generated as 1, place Carolina, and student ID as 101. Now you see the student ID having 101, group MPC and name James. That means here that the James address is Carolina. How this student name or student associated with this address? Based on student ID you see. Clear? This student ID is exactly located here. So that means some relationship is created in between these two tables. That's what we specified here, target entity. And moreover, join column also you see, join column. That means student ID. So what student ID presented here? Yes, the same student ID should be created here also. That is the meaning of join column. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
That is nothing but relationship of one to one. And can you tell me about many to one relationship? That's what we are going to discuss.
Different addresses referring to same ID.
Many to one, yeah. Tell me,
Like different addresses,
Sai.
different. This student has different addresses linking to same student ID.
Yeah, that is one to one, not many to one.
No,
Many to
different
one relationship.
address, Chandra.
Okay,
Different address
like
having one
student,
student ID.
like how we will get it different addresses for same student.
Student can be like he can have his home address, office address,
Okay, like permanent address, something like that,
yeah,
right? You're telling?
permanent address, temporary address.
Yeah. See, for example, let me take one more simple example here. Customers list. Imagine we created objects here to represent the customers. This is customer one, customer two, and then customer three. See, four customers are here using the product which is created by this vendor. So can we represent the relationship like this? Many to one?
Yes.
Yes, that is many to one relationship. Here this vendor is having many customers, you see. Okay, this is a many to one relationships. Okay, so let example also you see. Now, so program is same, but here you see I changed the username and password. So the given username is nothing but system and password is nothing but manager. So let me connect to that username and password. Now it is connected. Let me drop the tables first. So what are the tables created here? Customers table. It is already created in the database level. So that let me delete. Now that table is dropped and one more is a vendor. Let me delete the vendor table also. Yes, two tables are dropped. Dropped means removed. Okay. Now we are going to create some customer related objects like C1 and C2. Okay. Now That C1 represents one customer with ID 504 with customer name customer 4. Okay, and second customer C2 having own ID as 505 and then customer name as customer 5. And then third customer details also created here. ID as 506 and then customer name as customer 6. See, clearly we added all these customers to V, object V. So what object V represents here? Vendor. Vendor ID is 100. Vendor name is something like this. So all these customers are associated, sorry, linked to this vendor. So if we executed this, now you see, go over here and check. First of all, vendor ID and vendor name. The same way customers. You see that? So these customers associated with this vendor. That is many to one, you see. So writing of class is same, like the table name, class, column names, each and everything is same, like previous program. But here we changed the annotation, which is called many to one. So just simply by using annotation, we are showing the relationship. That means our Hibernate understands the relationship in between those two objects, like a vendor object and a customer's object. Okay, is it okay right now? Sai, Soumya and Venkat? Yeah, fine Venkat. And Sai and Soumya, what about you?
Yes, Chandra.
Yes,
Sir,
sir.
can you show that line set parent V, what it is doing?
Yes, yes. This is a child object. Here we created a parent object as V, like that.
Okay.
So is it okay right now?
Okay, Chandra.
So here relationships are very important concept. Yes, Venkat? Okay. So let me send these examples what we discussed till now so that you can work on that. Yeah, please be online so that I'm going to send examples. Hello? Sai Samyan Venkat. I shared the examples for you. Please check. Sai Samyan Venkat.
Got it, Chandra.
Yeah, fine. So
Yes,
please
sir.
work on them. If any queries are there, then we will discuss in the next session, that is on Monday. Okay?
Yes. Chandra, I was just trying this Hibernate
Okay?
and I was getting some exception.
Like,
Can you see, have a look at that now?
yeah, sure. Share me your screen right now.
Yes, Chandra. I have created a configuration file. Can you
Okay?
see?
No, no, no. Here you see, change the mapping file to some other from Hibernate.
Which HBM mapping
Yeah,
file?
change the mapping file. Change the name for mapping file.
Uh, uh,
What is the Java class name you given there?
User details.
No, no, no.
Yeah. Okay.
Here Java class you see.
Yeah, this is a Java class. This one.
Exactly with that name only you must create HBM file also.
Oh, can I change from here?
Yes, you can change.
Mhm. Same like exactly the same.
Student, what is given? What
No,
is
no,
the name we
user
given for
details.
Java class?
User details. This
So you
one.
have to change the name there also.
Okay.
Okay. And open the Java class.
This is the Java class. This
User
one.
details, right?
Yeah. This
Now
is
what
the
is the table name?
main class. Table name is also user details.
So have you given like that only? The mapping file.
Yeah, in the mapping file.
Hibernate mapping file.
Okay.
User details. Now can you execute?
It is fine, right? If we write user details dot XML or we have to write dot HBM.
No, dot HBM. HBM dot XML.
Okay.
Because it is a mapping file, right?
Okay.
User details dot HBM dot XML.
Okay. This is the table name, Chandra. User details.
Now can you execute?
We're showing this org hibernate.alien.h JDBC environment.
So maybe
Let's write
class
it.
path name to create requested service. Maybe some service issues are there. Database service issues.
This is my database path.
So have you like are you set it the class path for a jar file?
Where should I do that?
So what you have to do is initially you must copy jar file ojdbc.jar file into your project.
Okay, into this OJD.
It is there. Is it there or not?
In this, no, no, it is in some other file. I will just change it. You are asking the lib file, right, Chandra? That
Yes,
which
left
you
file.
have sent me earlier.
Yeah.
Give me a second. Like each time we have to have this in the project.
Sorry?
Like in every project we should have
JDBC.
this lib. Yeah, JDBC.
JDBC, then you can.
Is it fine, Chandra?
Yeah. Now, set the build path.
Like okay. Okay, first.
No, like just you click on first Hibernate.
The same Chandra.
Ah, yes, that's right.
Okay. Next, what should I do?
Go for libraries.
We are in libraries, Chandra.
Yeah. Okay, then you go for add external jars.
Next one, yeah.
And you have to select OJDBC where copy.
Yeah. Okay, Chandra.
Yeah, that's okay.
They run now.
Yes, try to execute. Some problem is, yeah, see, unable to load class. Hibernate text.
What could be the reason, Chandra?
Where you created Hibernate first? Are you using Hibernate first? So I think it executed right. Please check in the database. No, some issue is there. So your Oracle problem is solved, right?
Yeah, Oracle problem is solved. So
But
over
some other thing,
here,
right?
user set user ID.
What about the Hibernate test?
Yeah, this Hibernate test is that main class in which we are defining the user details and the session factory. All I'm doing is just saving and closing the transaction. This is the user details class, Chandra, and I've created a
Yeah, so
user
I
object.
think, yeah, just 1 minute. So can you open hibernate.cft.xml? Can you save that?
Save.
Yeah, can you save? It is not saved actually.
Okay, I've saved
And
now.
see, remove this second one. Hibernate test. Mapping class is equals to something like that, right? You remove that line. See,
Question.
mapping class is equals to.
Second, can you mention that?
No. Line number 43.
Okay. Yeah.
Remove that.
This is the Hibernate. Okay.
Need
First,
not map.
this is not required. Okay.
Yeah, now save it and execute it.
Mapping resource not
Mapping not
found.
found.
Hibernate.
Hibernate.hvm. So what
Okay.
you given there? Mapping file name?
Over here, it's asking.
Yes, that is also not necessary. Remove it. No. Remove complete. Oh, yeah. Like it should be user details, right?
Yeah.
And remove the next line.
Even this is not required.
Yeah, you not required. Remove that.
How, okay. How? Actually, mention.
Save it and execute it.
They are calling
So
values.
can you open a mapping file, like a user details file? What are the properties you created there? Exactly, it should be matched with this user ID and username. Two properties, right?
Yeah.
So how you written the mappings in mapping file?
Okay. Over here.
And a username.
Listen.
So how you given there, like yeah, uppercases, lowercase? You have to check that one also. So some mapping related problems are raised here.
A value set type using reflection containing class name user details. Property name is username. Uh, same. I've used username, and even over here, property name is username. User details, user ID. Even property name ID is user ID.
Otherwise, can you send me that program so that I will check here?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, please send me. And moreover, you asked one doubt, right? I
Yes,
will send
ma'am.
that program today.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay? Okay. Yeah. So to on Monday we will meet. Have a good day. Bye bye, all of you.
Okay. Bye, Sana.